very much, Mrs. Krieger. It is now time for perhaps the pinnacle of today's event, the valedictory speech. It will be delivered by a young man who excelled in every aspect of his academic career, conquering APs, SATs, and social science research, while still finding the time to play varsity tennis and be a role model for his entire school as president of our Youth Decide movement to say no to alcohol and drugs. Just before our ceremony this morning, he told me that his favorite memory from high school will be when his speech is through. Attending Dartmouth in the fall, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you our 2009 valedictorian, Mr. Joshua Horn.
Before I begin, I want to congratulate my buddy, Adam Lesser. Adam, it's truly a privilege to share this podium with you. Next, I'd like all the teachers who've endured my incessant talking to know that finally you have the opportunity to ignore everything I am about to say. Though I'm unbelievably honored to be your valedictorian, I owe my success largely to the help of my friends, some of whom wanted me to be valedictorian more than I did. Good friends are like those long, skinny 4x1 pieces in Tetris. They don't come along too often. You can't get enough of them, and they're round to value-added gems. They're the building blocks of life, the ones who can answer that million-dollar question, why the heck did I do that? Most importantly, I owe this to my family. To my brother Dave, your easygoing style has given me more perspective than you know. And to my parents, your tireless love, support, encouragement, and occasional nagging are the sources of all of my success. Family members are your most valuable assets. Remember, should you find yourself in dire need of an organ transplant, they are your most likely match. It's amazing to be here. I remember in kindergarten, practically shaking after a fourth grader nodded and had a stack of homework and said, "Enjoy life while you can, Josh. You'll understand once you're 10. But 6 years passed and we were faced with new anxieties as the elementary schools merged into middle school. The hierarchies of popularity would have to be adjusted, there would be lockers, there wouldn't be recess. And then we entered high school and were met with new fears. Freshman Friday, different lunch periods, and SATs. But along the way, united by vacations together, sports teams, clubs, big events like prom, and small moments like the 3 a.m. wrestling match on a Model Congress trip, we've become wonderful friends with lasting memories. Our bonds are more profound than our matching North Face jackets and Prada bags would suggest. Now, once again, we're at a critical juncture in our lives. This time, though, we wait not in concern, but in anticipation. Really, this moment, as we await the infinite possibility of the future, is as good as it gets. Because reality can sometimes be a big letdown. Think about it. The best time at a restaurant is often when you peruse the menu, picturing a litany of amazing dishes. But then the waiter arrives with everyone's plates, and you find yourself going, "Please don't let that brown one be mine. Oh God, he's bringing it towards me." Or think about this speech. You came in here with unreasonably high expectations. One valedictorian, this will be good. But by now, all that's going through your head is, must have been an off year or something. In fact, it's been said, we're only truly happy when dreaming about future happiness. Like when I dreamed I wouldn't look stupid with this blue piece of matzah on my head. Seriously, who designed this thing? There are more humane ways to humble us. A lot of pessimists find it too hard to dream amid the terrors of our scary world. Terrorists hell-bent on acquiring nuclear weapons, potentially apocalyptic climate change, skyrocketing federal budget deficits, and worst of all, a Grammy nomination for the Jonas Brothers. But let's put all this in perspective. In 1991, when most of us were born, race riots ravaged LA after white policemen beat an African American named Rodney King. Today, our president is black. In 91, the Dow closed above 3,000 points for the first time in history. Today, even after significant losses, it's over 8,000. I'm not suggesting that our problems will be easy to solve. Some we may never have the answers to. Frankly, all I'm saying is that the world isn't as messed up as we sometimes think. Obviously, my desire here is not to catalyze a mass epiphany or to inspire people to save the world, though someone should definitely get on that. Ironically, it's not an impending Armageddon that worries me most. My own nightmares are far more terrifying. In these dark dreams, I'm on a boat, accelerating along a dimly lit channel that's lined with doors. It's like that weird scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when Willy Wonka goes crazy, except that now society is running the boat instead of the Oompa Loompas. I want to jump out, but we're going too fast, and all the voices of society keep warning me of the dangers in the water. Suddenly the boat comes to rest in front of a rich mahogany door with elegant gold lettering that reads, Kornberg and Associates, Attorneys at Law. I yell, but before I can dive away, the door swings open and I'm thrown in, as helpless as one of Dick Cheney's hunting partners. I think the underlying nightmare here is that from the very beginning, we're asked what we want to be and not what we want to do when we grow up. Our answers change as we get older, from baseball player to astronaut to lawyer, but those less lofty are often met with subtle forms of disapproval. With each wrinkled brow or insipid remark, our real dreams dissolve like A-Rod in the playoffs. Adults always tell us, there's nothing that you cannot do if you set your mind to it. Yet I still feel trapped by the traditional measures of success, afraid of a life that's a series of merit awards, a life in which my resume could serve as a sufficient biography. Which brings me back to anticipation, idyllic visions of the future, and how nothing is ever guaranteed. There's a famous saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I sometimes feel like I've already spent too much time stressing over my goals for life. After all, no matter how much time we try to save, by eating fast food or speeding through stop signs, there's never any left over. The problem, of course, is the time we foolishly waste along the way. TiVoing MTV's The Real World is about as useful as playoff options on a mid-season ticket package. To be fair, I may very well become that lawyer with the gold-lettered door. My point, really, is that we all have these secret ambitions, like writing a book, organizing a service trip, or performing in a concert. Ambitions that we fear we'll eventually have to abandon for what's expected of us. I hope that we don't. I hope that we have the courage to open those doors on the periphery, the doors that lead to what we really want, even if we're not sure now what exactly that is. Thank you so much for the honor and the years of fun, and congratulations, class of 2009.
Josh, thank you very much for those thoughtful words. It is now a pleasure to introduce our graduation chorus under the direction